April, Heritage held a showcase auction for US small cent coins, featuring 881 coins, and here are some of the more interesting ones that were on offer. And let's start things with a repunched mint mark variety from 1934. Here, the D mint mark, indicating the coin's production in the Western Denver Mint, was repunched towards the south of the initial placement, leaving the remnants of the initial D due north of the final mint mark. Some collectors have posited that this is a large over small D mint mark, but there really is little to, dare I say, no real evidence to support this position at all. All the same, the coin here was graded by PCGS as MS65 red and was sold at auction for $1,440. One of only two modern coins to make their way onto this list now is the 1992 D Close AM Lincoln Memorial Cent. The coin's claim to fame is from the use of a reverse die intended for use on coins from the following year onwards, where the gap between the A and the M of America was narrowed, in addition to a few other minor design changes and tweaks as well. This example of this perennially popular variety was graded by PCGS as AU58, and at auction it sold for $1,501. Two major design varieties are known for the 1860 Indian head cent. These are the rounded and pointed bust types, a descriptive manner to attribute these varieties based on their appearance. But another way to describe the pointed bust type is perhaps to say that it is instead the type of 1859, as it seems that these pointed bust coins were made using leftover but undated dies from 1859, pressed into service and then finally dated in 1860. This example was authenticated by PCGS with a grade of MS64+, that saw it achieve a closing price at auction of $1,680. The 1859 Indian head penny is technically a one-year type coin due to the use of the laurel wreath on the reverse design, instead of the customary oak wreath that we are accustomed to seeing on this denomination right up to the inception of the Lincoln cent design in 1909. Here though, we have a bold overdate variety for 1859 as well, where every number is repunched quite strongly to impressive effect. Graded by PCGS as MS63, the coin was sold at auction for a total price of $1,920. Until not really that long ago, the 1943 over 2 S steel penny was thought to be a relatively straightforward double-die Obverse variety coin, but closer inspection and further close study has since revealed that this long since known about variety had more secrets left to yield, as it is in fact a rare overdate variety as well. The clear doubling on the eyelid and the date was in fact hiding the fact that the working die was initially pressed with a 1942 dated hub, and then the final impression was done with a 1943 hub to give us this PCGS graded MS65 example of this coin that was sold at auction for $2,040. One of the most sought-after mint marks of any series is 1944 D over S wheat cent, where the top portion of the initial S can clearly still be seen towards the top of the D mint mark. And interestingly, despite being overstruck, the bottom portion of the S is also still clearly detectable quite easily, meaning that the S punch was likely tilted or not held flush in relation to the die when it was struck. This beautiful example was graded by PCGS as MS65 red and sold for $2,400 when it passed under the auctioneer's gavel. A coin that features on the wish list of many a collector is the 1922 No D Lincoln Cent. In 1922, the Denver Mint was the only working mint to produce 1 cent coins for circulation. As such, all 1922 pennies should by right have the D mint mark, but through a series of unfortunate events, one could say. This rare variety, where the D mint mark is missing, was released into circulation. Graded by NGC as AU53, it was able to achieve a closing price at public auction of $3,480. Our next variety is an alumni of the Modern Lincoln Memorial series, and one of a very small number of no S proof coins to exist in the modern series. This is the 1990 no S proof Lincoln cent, not to be confused with the regular Philadelphia mint circulating cent that also has no mint mark. But this is the proof coin from the 1990 proof set and should have the S mint mark under the date. But here it was mistakenly omitted. Graded by PCGS as proof 67 red deep cameo, this modern rarity was sold at auction for $3,600. The 1867 over 67 Repunched Date variety penny was first reported to the collecting public at large by Q. David Bowers in his Empire Topics publication in 1959. Since then, it has become one of the most sought-after Repunched Date varieties in the series of coins. The 6 and the 7 of the dates are clearly repunched and should be easy to detect in any example of the coin. Our example here is graded as MS64 red-brown, with a fully red example of this coin being almost unobtainable. It sold at auction for $3,720. Now, I don't think it's a stretch to say that the 1873 double die Obverse or double Liberty Indian head cent is one of the most, if not perhaps the most, popular variety coins in the series. The doubling is plainly evident on the letters of Liberty inside the band of the headdress. This variety can be found on the closed 3 type of the 1873 penny, and this coin has fantastic eye appeal despite the relatively low mint state grade of MS61 from NGC. At auction, it sold for the sum of $5,280. For the Lincoln penny, 1936 is a year that has plenty of varieties to search for, including this red book listed double die Obverse coin as well. The offset hub doubling is plainly evident on the date of the coin, where all the numbers are doubled towards the right, with a similar effect found on the letters of In God We Trust, as well as Liberty. The top grade of MS65 red from NGC means that there are only 3 coins known to be finer, securing it a closing price at auction of $5,520. The 1894 over 1894 Indian head penny is a rather spectacular repunched date variety for the series, with the initial date being punched in with, well, too high a slant towards the right. The repunching was hence necessitated. The reverse is decidedly in a mid or stage B die state, with the die crack from the reef towards the rim of the coin around the 1030 position. Otherwise, a spectacular MS65 red example as graded by NGC that managed to change hands at auction for $5,520. The 1858 over 7 large letters Flying Eagle 1 cent is not exactly the strongest of the overdate varieties, with the underlying 7 becoming extremely hard to detect in later die states, so relying on additional die markers becomes almost a necessity for identifying this coin. Key in this regard is a small die chip above the first number 8 in the date. The broken wingtip is technically a hub variety, and as such is not unique to this variety, but it should definitely still be present on the coin as well. Graded here as MS64, just missing out on the coveted threshold MS65 grade point for this coin. It sold at auction for $9,300. In 1907, and more so in 1908, the US Mint started issuing coins to the numismatic market with a matte-proof finish, and by 1909 they extended this to the smaller denomination fractional coins like the penny as well. Sadly, this was not very popular at the time, and many were not very well preserved. As a result, very few full red proof coins remain today. By example, is this proof 62 brown example from PCGS that at auction was able to attain $9,601. Subscribe to WNN and feel free to watch one of the other penny-themed related videos next. For the World Numismatic News, I am Numisman saying thank you for watching, keep collecting, and have a fantastic day.